But it's almost the same thing as what I'm saying. Is like, I know it's a crazy idea, but just show up in person, right? And trust me, it does work.
Well, it's I don't need another DM exchange in Slack or anything else.
No, I don't need it.
Be followed by 4 different questions and then 4 follow-ups and and then we're going to pull somebody else in to come. If I can get on the phone with you and solve all that in 3 minutes,
great.
Go.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Account Management, a tactical guide to success. You got your host here, Fred Fuller, and I'm joined by my compadre, co-host, and co-author, the wonderful Dr. John Brown. John, how are you, sir?
I am doing great, Fred. I came up with a nickname for you, finally, after multiple episodes where you called me the Hooded Falcon. Your new nickname is, drumroll, Pimento Cheese.
It doesn't make, but Hooded Falcon you gave me.
No, don't turn the conversation. I see what you're doing.
Hooded Falcon up on a silver platter.
Do you want to know why you're Pimento Cheese?
Yeah, I do want to know why.
So I opened my fridge the other day, and there's a tub of, you guessed it, pimento cheese. And for our listeners who are not, maybe not in the United States, what is pimento cheese, you may ask? It's a southern delicacy of the southeastern United States. So basically like cheddar cheese with like aged pimentos in it, which is like red peppers that are, I don't know, gross and mushy. And it turns the whole thing orangey. And anyway, my point is, it's exactly like you. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh my God, there it is. It's vaguely southern, but not really. It's kind of hipster food. And then on top of it, and most importantly, it's just cheesy.
Cheesy.
Yeah.
Cheesy.
That's pretty solid.
So pimento cheese is a mouthful. It's polysyllabic. There's multiple words. How do we condense that? Do we get to PM or just maybe pimento?
I could make a portmanteau out of the word and say peas.
Cheese. I don't know what portmanteau is.
Portmanteau. That's a word. That's a word that means.
You stop it.
I know you love it when I use the big vocabulary. Portmanteau is when you combine 2 words together.
Well, I'd rather just be pimento.
Okay. All right.
I can tell you a really funny story about nicknames. Yeah. I met a man one time, and they called him Pinto. And I hung around with this group of people. I was a little bit of an outsider, and so as the day went on, and I probably had enough to drink.
Was this like the Bean Club?
Okay, now you're a racist.
You can't. For beans? All right. So tell your story.
So Pinto, I asked this guy, I'm like, we get through the day, and I'm like, hey man, why do they call you Pinto? And he's like, it's my name.
Your assumption was it was a nickname.
Nickname. Hey, Pinto. Like, him thinking about the car and the bean and everything. No, none of that. No, it's just the man's name. Just the man. It was one of my finer moments.
Yeah. Leave it to you to make it awkward.
Well, that's what I like to do. Hey, speaking of awkward, we are not a current events thing. We're here to talk about account management.
Pretty much account management.
But good googly moogly, what in the heck is going on, man?
Oh, today you mean?
Yeah, I mean, look, we have the AWS outage, which is massive, and hey, kudos, like no hate for AWS. Like this is a headline, right? I'm not calling it. The Louvre gets robbed.
The Louvre got robbed.
Did you see that?
Precious gems, yeah.
And I've always said at the dinner table, Fullers don't rob liquor stores. We go big, right?
Wow.
We go big.
My comment on the jewelry theft was, to my wife, I said, it's great to see professionals at the top of their game.
they did it in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
It's so awesome.
That's yeah. All right. We're here to talk about account management, Fred. This isn't like the podcast of the day, the broadcast where they talk about whatever.
Well, okay. Look, man. Okay, Hooded Falcon. If we are ready, ready to take flight.
Wait, how can we awkward segue to our actual? How can we awkward segue to our actual topic today? What's the gymnastic flip? Let's just get to it.
I'm going to do it like a pro. All right, today we're here to talk about how to differentiate yourself offline,
offline
in an online
world.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
So we have some fun things to talk about here. We're going to talk about some of the realities of the accounts that you manage. Right?
Yep.
We're going to talk about how to fight the scourge, and we're going to tell you more about that.
Scourge, yes.
Scourge. Hey, man, potato, right?
Yeah, right.
There you go with your polysyllabic stuff. And then actually like get to know your clients. That's a bit of a
shocker
concept,
yeah,
right?
We're going to talk about that.
Hey, man, there's a lot of value in that. So really, this episode is about in an online world. We do the interviews, we do the Teams meeting, right? The calls and so forth. And so what we're trying to do here is how do you differentiate yourself from every other person in the universe that's going to follow up with the email that says, hey, dear sir, ma'am, thank you for your time. I'm really interested in the job.
Yeah, right? And so the reason we're doing this podcast, and Fred and I talk about this all the time. You're exactly right. I read this book a long time ago. It was kind of like one of these futurist prediction books, and it said something that I thought was profound, is that, every advance in technology, particularly advancements in communication technology, will create a kind of corresponding offset, a concomitant need, if you will.
That is exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, that's the word you were going to use.
Yeah,
a concomitant need for more human touch communication.
Yep.
If that makes sense. So like, all the tools that we have now to communicate, which just, you would think that everything has been invented in terms of human communication, but somebody comes up with something new all of the time, and it never ends, and it almost seems to get faster. What this episode is about is making the point that, like, actually getting out of all that and doing some offline things is now more powerful than ever, right? And so as an account manager, we want you to use those skills, and we're going to talk about some of those things are. So we're going to split up into two groups. We're going to talk about a bunch of items that we've covered before, and so we'll just kind of list those so as not to bore everybody. But we're going to talk about a few new ideas as well. Well, not new ideas in the world, but like new ideas to the podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the what's old is new. Right. Mm-hmm. There's a little bit of that here. Right? What's old is new, man. Like the old things that we do that have worked for millennia, they still work. And they actually can have a much bigger impact today because you're reflecting than they can in the future. Right.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Yeah. And I have a story to tell about that, which we will get to when we get to that section.
I love story time. I love it. Okay. So first, let's talk about what are some of the realities of the accounts that you manage? Yeah,
so that's a good question. So I would tell you, so particularly in the role I'm in now, and actually the last couple of roles really, being an executive and actually being kind of on the other side of a table from an account manager, it's actually given me, fairly new perspective on the role. It's changed none of what I think about the way to do it well. But what it does make me appreciate is there's some finer points that this is making me appreciate. One of the finer points is like, you'd be surprised, particularly if you're like a relatively early career person, the executive that you're having to deal with on the other side of the table, or let's say, senior business leader, they are utterly exhausted of all the online tools they have to use all day.
Oh, my heavens. Yeah.
Like, I mean, exactly what I'm talking about, right? Where you're like, I'm gonna read this because it is kind of a funny thing that was like one of those memes that ran around at the beginning of the pandemic. It's got some language in it, so I'm going to try to excise that. But this was a meme, just to give you an example of it. But it says, working at any office is like, okay, we're transitioning to Solera, but payroll is still in Bullfrog. Did you see my news ring post? Submit your time card in Fireplace, and then hit me on SmackDog. Do not upload in Crackers without Yammer approval, right?
Yeah.
It's like that, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like a cute little nickname of like this thing you got to do, and you're in system after system all day long trying to do all these little things. It's like, it's mind-boggling.
And I actually read that, and you know what it does for me?
What?
It makes me want animal crackers. I have no idea why. I think it's maybe the crackers in there for Bullfrog, and I'm just like, hey man, we have animals and we have crackers.
Now I've got this. I don't think anybody's going to know what that is under 40.
What? Animal crackers?
No. I don't. Do they still make those?
Hell yeah, yes. I mean, sure, sir, they do. Yes.
now I can tell you're like actually mad at me.
Yeah. I love animal crackers, man.
I don't know if one of our listeners could write in and to let us know if they still make animal crackers. But the point being, so here's what you need to know as account manager. You're in those systems all day long. You use an account manager, send an email to one of those executives who's like dealing with that stuff all day long. Where do you think that your email fits in their queue of like the 1 million things that they're getting pinged on all day long? Like
it's hard enough for me to deal with stuff when I know what somebody's saying. If you give me a quiz and a treasure chest and a scavenger hunt,
or an email that's bigger than the pane of glass that
not interesting.
No, right. A really long. Yeah.
Your job is to simplify, not be cool.
Right.
Like literally, like all that stuff that you just read, like we are acronymed to death.
Yeah.
And like, can we just speak plain English? Like, this is sort of the bottom line up front thing, right? We talked about that in one of the previous episodes. Like, let's focus on just the basics and let's execute well on them.
Yeah. Well, right? We talked about this in the previous episodes. Like, if I talk to an account manager and say, hey, did you communicate this to the client? I said, well, I sent an email. What I hear is no.
Yeah.
Right. Like, no, I did not communicate to the client. I heard, you know what I mean? Like,
especially if it's bad news, right? We've talked about this. We've talked about the mediums, right? And that was bad news. Did you deliver that to the client? I sent an email. Like, hold on, you did what?
Yeah. I mean, like that is a step towards communication, but it is not actually communication.
It's not ensuring that they got the right message. Right. Like that's what you're talking about.
Some consultants that you and I are fans of say this all the time. I'm going to steal it from them, which is communication is what the listener does. I didn't make that up. I'm not going to, but right. But that's
great, right? Yeah, absolutely. That's what it is. We all think it's about the speaker, and it's like, no, the consumer of that information has to make sure that they have that information. Yeah. That's I love that.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. All right. And so then the next one here, you want to walk us through this, the scourge.
The scourge. How to fight this scourge of online tools. Am I going too heavy on the big words? Do I need to like dial
No,
it back?
it's not. No. It's we'll talk about
some real-time feedback.
We'll talk about your pronunciations and stuff later. It's embarrassing is what it is. But let's just proceed because we're paying for this fine studio.
That's right. Well, but nobody's paying us, so like, we can just kind of.
That's even more problematic. That means we're paying somebody and somebody's not. Let's go quick. Talk faster.
So just a few points. We've talked about all these things before in terms of how to fight this. First of all, is always, we talked this a million times, being present during online meetings, paying attention, maintaining eye contact, staying engaged. Don't doodle. Don't do other stuff. Don't check other things. Don't check email. Don't check Slack, whatever. Like just actually being engaged is the number one solution to this problem.
Be present. And here's the nuance with that particular piece of sort of feedback or guidance, which is it does not take any time at all. You can sit on a call and 90% of the time you're doing the right thing. You're locked in, you're listening. 10% where you do one little thing, that's the time where the client's going to look up and they're going to say, what are you doing? Right? Like, so being focused means being focused for the whole call. It means being tuned in for the whole call. It's one or two. I have a really interesting experience with some folks that I've known for a long time and worked with recently. And they're wonderful, wonderful people. And we were on a call and he was trying to pull something up that he had created for me and he wanted to surprise me. While we're on the call though, he's clacking away and he doesn't have the noise suppression on. So like whatever, like the keys are clacking pretty hard. And I finally had a moment where I'm like, hey man, like what are you doing? And I'm trying to kind of fight this thing to be like, WTH, like what are you doing? And he's like, and when he told me what he was doing, like, of course, I instantly felt bad. Like, oh, okay, you're trying to do something for me. And I knew you were, but it's still remarkably distracting. Like, even though I know you and I know what your intentions are and how you operate, I know you would not knowingly, like ignore me on a call. It still feels like, ugh.
You're ignoring me.
Right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's not the feeling you want your client to have. Second one we've talked about a million times, use the phone.
Crazy.
I know it's nuts. I've talked about this before. I have this little lecture that I give where I'm like, hey, everybody under 30, we've got this new
device,
communications device. It's right on your desktop, and it enables you to instantly communicate with anybody in the globe, and it's really cool. And it's called the phone.
We all carry one.
You actually have one in your pocket. You don't ever use it as a phone, but it is a phone,
That's
and
right.
you can call people. The culture is trending away towards using that as a communications device, and that's fine. I think what I would tell you is, like, if you are dealing with another busy business person during their business day and you want to get something solved quickly, they will appreciate, hey, I'm just going to call you and we're just going to kind of get this done right here and now. And I have an account manager that I work with now that actually will just kind of call me, like, to kind of quick solution something. And I'm like, thank you. And I'm a busy, person too, but like, because it shortens the whole cycle, and it's not another email that I have to deal with, right? Like, so I know the culture is not this, and you and I sound old when we talk about it, but like, there's actually a reason for this. Yeah.
Well, I don't need another DM exchange in Slack or anything else.
No, I don't need it.
Be followed by 4 different questions and then 4 follow-ups and and then we're going to pull somebody else in to come. If I can get on the phone with you and solve all that in 3 minutes.
Great.
Go.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's exactly right. Knowing when to do that. Now, there are times where you have to have written communication. We're not saying never do that. What we're saying is, like, there are times where it's like the asynchronous back and forth will take like a day, and we could just solve this in 3 minutes.
Yeah. Right.
To get it solved in 3 minutes. Right?
And you're going to know your clients, and you're going to know that some of them will not want a phone call, and then you manage that accordingly, right?
Yeah.
But you know the ones that will want the call. You know the ones that are really busy and want to cut through the baloney and get to the thing and get a decision and move forward, right?
Yeah.
And so you treat everybody individually with an overarching sort of discipline around, this is the first mode of communication in this scenario, right?
Yep, exactly. Here's another one. We talked about this before, but we'll list it again. And this actually happened to me recently, and this is why I'm kind of passionate about it. If the answer to the client's question is in the online portal of whatever it is, right, and they Slack you or email you or whatever, they reach out and say, ask question XYZ. What is the answer to XYZ? The answer to that is not, hey, go look in the portal.
Yeah.
I've actually seen that happen recently where the reply was, hey, go look in the portal and it's in here. Hey, answer my question.
Yep.
Right? Like, I am the client.
Yeah.
Right? Like, now you can do both. Right? So the A+ answer is to just answer the question. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Client, here's the answer to the question. And oh, by the way, if you ever want to find it again, here's the link. It's in this part of the portal. Great. That's fine.
That is the way
you did what your company wanted you to do.
That's right.
Don't miss that first part. Like, that's it.
Well, I'll add to that, right? There are a lot of nuances within communication, and here's one that drives me a little bit bananas. And I think it's always said with the right intention, but it comes across wrong if not delivered properly. And that is this notion of, yeah, I sent that to you before. Like, hey, can you answer this question for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I told you, remember I told you yesterday that it was thus and such. Like, look, man, I'm super busy and I have a lot of stuff coming. And if I bothered you by asking you that same question twice, then tell me. But don't do the passive aggressive thing.
Yeah.
Now, oftentimes that's misconstrued for being some sort of a passive aggressive thing. Probably 99% of the time, what people are trying to do is say, in defense of myself, you asked for that information and I gave it to you, but I want to give it to you again. So it's not as condescending as it appears to be. So when you are delivering that message, know that in defense of yourself and having delivered that before, if you don't state that properly, you're going to sound like a twit.
Well, what a lot of people don't realize is you don't have to defend yourself. Like, the person it's asking, again, an executive, somebody busy, right? They just don't remember. That's a lot of people don't realize that. I've done that many, many, many times, more times. It's embarrassing, where I'll ask a question again, and then after the person replies again, I'll be like, oh yeah, they told me that like last week, and like I just, but I'm a human being. By the way, your new nickname, a little bananas. That's my new nickname for you. Pimento. By the way, that would make a great sandwich. Some cheese, pimento cheese, and a little bit of bananas.
ALB now?
Yeah, and a little bit of bananas.
I'm a little bananas. Yeah. I'm no longer pimento?
No, we moved on from PC. You didn't like that whole conversation went off the rails. Now you're a little bananas. Okay.
I told you before. Mm-hmm. See what I did there? I just brought that. I was going to spin you around on that one. Right. But I'm not going to. Not now.
What are the other ideas we've covered before, Fred?
Look, this stuff, for me, this aligns kind of back to some of the basics. Yeah. And the basics
those were all the basics.
As an example, seek to understand and to be understood, right? Like that's one of our tenets, which we consumed in the market, right? That's a Kobe-ism, I believe.
Yeah.
So
Kobe.
Just to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
But I had a great conversation earlier with somebody that you know well, and this individual was talking about a client that called him and said, "Hey, the thing that we're working on, we're just kind of going to put the brakes on it." And this individual said, "Like, hold on, like spidey senses go off. This doesn't sound right. It's kind of not normal. Let me dive in a little bit, right?" And so this individual dives in and says, "Well, let's talk about that. Like, where's what's the concern? What's your hang up, right?" And you massage that conversation to get to the root cause, which that individual did, and saved the account. And literally pulled it back online and said, here's what we're going to do going forward. And what they found was the effort that they were pursuing was putting too much on one of the leads. And the lead then was the stopgap, right? The lead is the bottleneck on we got to get all these things done.
Right.
And the lead is like, I can't do all those, a constraint, right? And so the proprietor spoke with the client and said, well, wait, why are you doing that? Like, we can do this and we can do those things.
Yeah,
like, let's just take that all your plate. Right. Like problem-solving mode, solve the problem, save the client, back on track, the revenue's flowing, right? And
they wanted to put on the brakes. He cut the brakes.
Yes. Why do you get so weird?
Not everything has to be a big word. It can sometimes just be simple. It's just an analogy.
It's just he's not even a race car driver. What are you talking about, man? No, but I think it's a great thing. That individual actually reached out to tell me the story because of what we do. That individual reached out and said, "Hey, man, I've got this story for you. I think you'll appreciate it," which I do. But it aligns with that. You want to engage with your clients. You want to become somewhat endearing to them. Yeah, care about their problems.
Yeah. Well, the great thing about that story is it goes back to the central point of like, none of that would have happened without a live human conversation. If they tried to do that over Slack or email, nope.
Never going to happen.
None of that. Like, so the person did a diving catch and saved it.
Yeah.
We have one other idea we talked about before to fight the scourge of the online world.
Yeah.
And that is sending an industry update to your client, or some sort of update. Hey, just reaching out. I'm making a deposit, just letting you know about this thing maybe you didn't know about, right? Like this human touch kind of thing can be online. So I'm mixing metaphors a little bit here, but just a touch outside of I need something, right?
Yeah, clients love it when you give them something. Right. Whether they ask for it or not, whether they use it or not, the fact that you are thinking about them in a consultative capacity, the fact that you are coming to them and saying, this is my sphere of influence, my world of expertise, and I want to share with you what's happened of late, what's happened in our company, what's happening in the market. They love that. And it doesn't take much, right? If you're part of an organization that's got a marketing department, like some of these things are already being produced, you just need to ask for them, right? So 100%, like be that consultant. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Enjoying the podcast but want to learn more best practices for account management? Pick up a copy of A Dragon Walks Into a Meeting, a tactical guide to client management. Available at Amazon or wherever books are sold.
All right. And what's next then?
Well, we're going to talk about some ideas we haven't talked about before. So all those things
these are new. We've never, ever talked about these ideas before.
Well, you and I probably talked about them, but we've never talked about them on the podcast.
Yeah.
So, that's the new part.
The banana loaf. What did you call me?
You're the pimento cheese banana loaf.
No, you can't mix a dairy and fruit. You can't do that in my nickname. Nope, you can't. I'm going to draw the line. Dairy and fruit's a no-no in my nickname.
There's like
you're the hooded falcon. You're one animal with a garment. I can't be a food and a animal and a
all right
banana. It's not fair.
All right. You're right. I'll workshop it some more. Okay. I've got some other ideas. Right. Let me just.
Well, let's talk about these things that we have never ever talked about before, John. I'm anxious.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Well, the first idea is this. So this is a really common client management situation. I'm sure you've been in this one before, where you're emailing the client, or this can work for prospects, but you're emailing an existing client. You want to talk to them. You want to work on the relationship. They just won't reach back out to you, like radio silence. Like you get nothing, right? You've been in that situation.
Yeah, we've all been in that.
Yeah, 100%.
And right? 9 times out of 10, when that is the situation, there's somebody else in the room. Like there's somebody trying to come after you.
Yeah. Like scenario, right. It's. I mean, we've said this a million times. The opposite of love isn't hate; it's indifference, right? Yeah, and so when they stop talking to, like if they're mad at you, that's actually better than when they stop talking to you entirely because they don't care anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is this problem. So the suggestion we're making here is kind of a new idea, is to storm the castle. And by that we mean, actually show up to their site at an appropriate time, dress professionally, not anything weird, right? Ring the doorbell and ask if you can talk to the person. This is extreme, right? And it's like it's a bold move, but we're suggesting like there may be situations where this is appropriate. And it's a great way to get somebody's attention, because even if they're not there, or they ask you to come back later, or whatever it is, like I showed up for you. A lot of times people are very good at ignoring you through online communication channels. Yeah. A lot of times people have a really tough time saying no to somebody who is like at their doorstep.
This speaks to something that maybe should even take place earlier in the relationship, right? Which is, depending on the relationship, where you product company or services company, whether it's an ongoing kind of concern that you have or whatever, but to have people physically in their offices is paramount. It is massive. And so it shouldn't be something that you would look to leverage. It wouldn't be something you would look to execute on in a moment of like need. It would be lay that groundwork now. Mm-hmm. Don't wait until you have a problem and then show up on their door. No, like start now, so that when you show up, the door is open. They expect you, and it becomes.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean. I'm suggesting this is kind of a last resort. I mean, you want to normally, get in touch with a client and set a meeting time, and you come visit them. So I'm not saying don't do any of those things. What I'm saying is, like, if the client is totally ignoring you through online channels and you can't get any attention at all. Show up and see what happens, right? And I've seen that actually work before.
I've seen it work really, really well.
And it's a shocking thing. Again, we're in a culture now where people won't ring your doorbell at your house. They have to text you, and they're standing outside. And I'm like, just ring the doorbell, right? Like, I got
to tell you,
let's not get into all that. But it's almost the same thing as what I'm saying is, like, I know it's a crazy idea, but just show up in person. Right. And trust me, it does work. It can be a little bit of a last resort.
Yeah. There's a comedian that does a great bit on this. And he talks about, like, when you were kids and somebody knocked on the door, everybody celebrated. You got up, you ran to the door. You're like, hey, cousin Vinny, or whatever. Right? Like all that. Now when somebody knocks on the door, everybody like ducks. Right? Like, hey, who's it? Did you invite anybody? I didn't invite you. Did you? Did somebody come? Like, it's this thing, right? And why? Like, that's crazy. But in a work setting, like, go.
Salespeople will tend to do this a little bit more. Like, they'll be in an area and they'll be like, I got this prospect. I've been trying to work them. They won't return my calls, and they'll just show up because, like, they have nothing to lose. And what I'm suggesting, account managers are less prone to do this. And so what I'm suggesting is borrow that little technique, because it can work really well. So there you go. So that's the first one. The other one, and we talked about this a little bit, but the second one, I think, is really underused and important, is sending physical thank you notes.
Mr. Falcon, Mr. Hooded Falcon, if I may, I'd actually love to give you credit for not just kind of talking the talk on this one. This is something that you have been a massive proponent of, and you have done very, very consistently, internally, externally, and you have been made I'm being real serious. Like, people have picked at you for it. Like, you're an old school.
Yeah.
And the truth is, from my perspective, I've always really appreciated and admired it. And when you get that handwritten note, no matter how much fun somebody wants to make of it,
deep down,
they're like,
it's different.
You took the time to put a pen to paper, even if it's only 10 words. And then you walk by, you put it on my desk, like it matters.
Yeah, and it's not calligraphy, people. It's like a serial killer. My handwriting.
Well, that's a different. That's a
Let's
different
work on that later.
Let's work on that.
Yeah. No, 100%. Right. I get made fun of, and I get made fun of by other executives actually, and like every time they make fun of
other things, because we all this is a big bucket.
There's a lot to unpack in this department. Yeah, open
that
yourself
too is
up.
another podcast.
That's another.
Okay.
Got 3 hours ready to go on that. No, no, they do make fun of me, and I'm like, I don't care. You know why? Because I'm with you on that. Like I think it matters, and I think people like it, and you can make fun of me about it, but like I think it's a thing, and I've had people years later talk to me about this after I've worked with them and like say, this is what I remember about you.
Yeah.
So as an account manager, you can just imagine, right? You write your client a note, like you may not hear back from them and you think, oh, I just wasted my time. No, you did not. They read it and it made an impression because you took that extra time.
And it sits and it marinates.
Yeah.
It's not a gift that comes back to you immediately. You'll get a little, oh, thanks for the note. But the reality is that's something that sits and simmers and marinates, and it grows roots.
I'm gonna offer a proof point of this, which is the story I was going to tell. Which is a lot when I've done a job search in the recent past. I've actually I give people this technique all the time, but I've actually done it where, like a local job search, I've actually snail mailed my resume to a whole bunch of people, like literally a list of, 700 people, CEOs, that kind of thing. It works incredibly well.
Yeah.
Why does it work? It's offline. And so there's nobody screening the mail anymore, the physical mail. It lands on their desk. It's this physical thing. It's like, what do I do with this? You feel weird throwing it in the trash. A lot of times you'll give it to some other senior person, say, hey, go call this person, find out what's going on. I could talk for another 20 minutes about why this works. Yeah. It works like magic. Why? Because it's offline. Remember you said it a few minutes ago, what's old is new again? Yeah. And so I'm just telling you, like the handwritten notes. I mean, I know you believe this, but like for anybody who doesn't believe me listening, trust me, like it's hugely impactful.
No, I'm here to make fun of you and pick at you, but also then to once in a while say, actually, that's true. So I will say, this is the one time.
There's a HR software person here in Atlanta that she's a very lovely lady. I've talked to her a few times. She has been trying to sell me HR software for years, and she keeps mailing me books, like business books, and it's pretty cool. And like, I wish I was in a position to buy HR software. It just doesn't come up for me as like a thing that I do routinely, right? Or you already have an existing system and you got to tear it out. It's like, but like, man, if I ever get in a position where de novo, I have to go buy a piece of HR software, you know how I'm going to remember?
Yeah, it works.
100%.
It absolutely works. It absolutely works. Okay, and then the last one on the list here is, I think this is the last one, which is, we have to send holiday gift or holiday card.
Yeah, right along the lines with sending a thank you note is, if your company doesn't have a program already, it can depend on the size of the company. Like a larger enterprise will probably have some sort of holiday gift program for your clients. So, you leverage your CRM and you mail everybody a, some sort of little tchotchke or token at the holidays. Or I've seen some companies that go as far as like a, kind of holiday food basket.
Yeah, sure.
Depends on the kind of companies you're working with and whether they can accept things like that. And there's but that can be really impactful. Also, I would argue like a handwritten note is way more impactful than, the sort of standard. But if your company is big enough, you should contract with a firm and actually help them arrange, to get this done. I've sent out tons of holiday gifts before at various companies, and you know what I've learned? I am really bad at it. I always pick the wrong thing. Yeah, I have some stories I could tell. Like I've picked absolutely the wrong stuff. So, anyway, that's what I'm saying. Like a note card just saying Happy Holidays and you handwrite it. That actually is a better thing than a gift, but that's only because I'm like terrible at this.
I'm pretty horrible at it too. But it is important that my advice on this particular item is you know your clients. Do everything you can to get them something that they actually care about.
Right. Can I tell you my horror story?
Yeah, I would love
where
to
I
hear
really messes. I've actually twice. I've done
trapped in
terrible
in a truck stop.
Well, one of them was actually when we worked together. We sent to clients. My idea was like this jar of M&Ms, and all the M&Ms and they were branded our company logo, and they all arrived at the client side all totally shattered. So we gave them basically a jar of M&M dust.
There you go. What's wrong with that? I mean, hey,
just get like a spoon,
just sprinkle it on your ice cream,
start shoveling it. Oh yeah, it's
I started your blizzard for you, right? Like there you go, man.
I know we meant it to be a froyo topping.
Yeah, you're welcome. What are you complaining about again? Send it back. You don't want them, send it back.
Anyway, I'm just saying, man. Like there's some risks with the holiday gift.
There's a silver lining. There's a silver lining.
But again, it's a good way to again be offline. Right.
Like, 100%. I mean, I have literally, if you have clients, you've had them for a long time, you know who they are. I will go out and buy them an individual gift. Mm-hmm. Like I will take the money out of my pocket. If you have a client that's responsible for X amount of your portfolio, and like it might be worth a little extra time and a few of your dollars, maybe, to go out and get something that client's going to care about. Or the next time you go into town to see that client, bring them something, right? Like, to your point, putting something in the mail with a handwritten note, like it is powerful. It's really, really powerful. The clients that I've gone out and shopped for individually, like every one of them call me and go, man, I can't thank you enough. Yeah. Last thing I wanted was another fruit basket that was going to sit up here and do whatever, right? Or like, how many different flavors of Tabasco can I have? Like, that's not what I want, right? Like, it's give me something that I care about. And when you do that, like,
you mean you got him something other than a jar of M&M dust?
I put Tabasco on it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
Classic.
No, I tell you honestly, and I don't know where this fits in the big book of rules, but like, I've worked with a lot of people that like bourbon, right? Or people that like wine. I'll go out and buy a nice bottle of bourbon or a nice bottle of wine, right? This is not a run to Kroger. This is a go get nice things, shop for them, get them something that matters, and send it to them. And they will be really, really thankful. You went through the effort to get something that they care about. You got them something nice, and you took the time to put it in the mail and say Happy Holidays. Like, it's a trifecta.
Are you slagging on Kroger?
No, I love Kroger. Love M&Ms, and I love.
Oh my God, Fred! There's one more final point.
Oh yeah, let's talk about
the most important thing to do. So we saved the best for last. You take it.
Yeah. Well, like, hey, here's a really, really crazy, wacky idea. Get to know your clients. Like, right? Like, yeah, what kind of nonsense is that?
Yeah.
How do you do that, John?
Well, kids' names. We talked about this a million times before, so I'm just going to say it again. Their kids' names, their wife's spouse's name, sports that they are interested in, their interests, their hobbies, creating connections. Like, actually, this is what your CRM is for. Put all this stuff in there. Make sure there's a slot to put those things in there, right? Knowing a little bit about their career, right? Like, we've talked about this 1 billion times before, so we're not going to belabor it. But like,
when you look, when
1,000 times more impactful than sending them an email about the thing.
There is nothing stronger than when you get on the phone with a client and you go, how was Susan's soccer game this weekend?
Yes.
Right? Oh, whoa. Thank you for asking. Right? How's your mom? I know she's
ill.
Ill and doing something. Like, people care about that.
100%.
And when you do that, you will get one of two things. You will get a big deep breath and okay, let me slow down for a moment and talk to somebody. Right. That, or you may get like, okay, I'm really busy. I don't have time for this. And if that's the case, then that's fine too, right? Like, okay, cool. Let's go straight to the business of the business because you have a lot on your plate, right? But just take a moment to follow up on a previous conversation and ask a question about something. Like, it's crazy, right?
Yeah. So here's all things. So all the things we talked about before are really about getting out of that online world. And what I hope people walk away from this hearing and understanding is, like, from the other side of like, all these things can kind of seem like maybe they're too forward or they're sort of crazy or like a waste of time and all this sort of stuff. But what you don't appreciate is that the person on the other side of that table, they want a break from that stuff. And you can give it to them.
Well, you and I worked together, and one of our jobs was to bring just a little bit of levity.
Yeah,
right.
That's
like
right.
not in a goofy.
Just at least a smile.
Just, yeah, man. Look, we can all. Jobs are hard.
Yeah,
right.
Work is hard.
And we all have people that are going to want something from us. But this meeting, we can just breathe for the next 60 minutes and just talk about
be human beings,
right? Be human beings with each other.
That's
absolutely,
right. Yeah,
absolutely. So, well, I think this is a great episode, right? Like, hey, man, this is back to basics.
It is. This one is a little bit back to basics.
Yeah. Build connections with people.
That's right.
Any parting words?
Do you like pimento cheese on like a rye bread or a white?
So thanks everybody for tuning in to another episode of Account Management, a tactical guide to success. For the Hooded Falcon, you have Fred, pimento cheese, banana something. Come on, nail this down, dude. Nail it down. For Fred Fuller and John Brown. For John Brown, I'm Fred Fuller. Let's do it that way. For John Brown, Fred Fuller. We'll see you next time.
Learn more about the art and science of account management. Pick up A Dragon Walks Into a Meeting, a tactical guide to client management. Digital and print editions available at Amazon or your favorite bookseller. Fred and John would like to hear from you. Leave a comment for us on YouTube and head over to fuller-brown.com for more great content.